Man, that month went fast. Now we have to contend with this. What is that? Wait, that's not right. Gag me with a spoon. Well, what's on the docket today, Nigel?
Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah, you did promise that, didn't you? Well, why not? It may surprise you, but I'm somewhat of a Dragon Ball fan myself. In fact, I like Dragon Ball Z, and most of Super and the later half of GT. Though I will admit I'm more partial towards Season 1 through 6 of Z. You know, Raditz to Cell, because that Saiyaman arc was rough. In fact, the whole Boo saga just felt like Toriyama was throwing shit at the wall to see what would stick. Even with all my complaints, Boo is still a sight better than seeing Goku and the rest of the crew fight a bunch of furries and magical girls. But that's the Dragon Ball franchise in a nutshell, for every arc has its own ups and downs. For every Saiyaman there's a Majin Vegeta, for every Reaper there's a Jiren. All the good has a way of outweighing the mundane, which also extends to the movies. And in my opinion, most of the movies aren't half bad. But like the previous statement, for every Trio Might, History of Trunks, or Bardock, we also get duds like Bio Broly. So where does today's topic sit? Well, let's take a bite out of Deadzone. The movie opens up a few years after the World Martial Arts Tournament with Piccolo yelling at some mountains, training for his next encounter with Goku, just to get jumped by 4 assholes. Kami, sharing a link with Piccolo, for some reason assumes that it's Goku. And before you jump down my case, the sub's different than the dub. No, the sub also has this little discrepancy. So it's not a translation issue, it's just a plot hole. Jumping over to Goku's house, Chi-Chi, Gohan, and Ox King are sharing a Kodak moment, to be interrupted by 3 of the assholes from earlier. And it's kind of strange that in broad daylight, 2 of these guys are shrouded in shadow. Now come on, that dude is in direct sunlight, but I still can't see his damn face. The guy we do see feels like a flex in the animation budget, and actually carries some of the animation over from Dragon Ball to Z. The asshole trio, I like to call them, are here to claim the Dragon Ball on Gohan's head. Chi-Chi makes a move to protect Gohan, but the trio don't fight fair, knocking Chi-Chi out for the count and nabbing Gohan, instead of just grabbing the Dragon Ball off his head. Goku, who is fishing, comes charging in, just barely missing them, finding Chi-Chi and Ox on the ground, checking to make sure they're okay, and then hauling ass to Master Roshi to pick up the radar from Bulma so he can track Gohan down using the radar. For all the Goku is a bad dad jokes, it was Goku's idea to stick the Dragon Ball on Goku's hat. Yeah, there is an argument that makes Gohan a target, like he is here. But considering who Gohan's dad is, that was bound to happen sooner or later anyway. So sticking a keepsake from Grandpa Gohan on Gohan's head actually makes sense. Goku was lowjacking his kid long before the soccer moms in the 2000s. And it is a smart idea, especially in the show when Raditz nabbed Gohan anyway. Back at the villain's lair, we see the asshole trio has already collected 4 of the balls, now with Gohan making 5. Now there is a big complaint in the movie. Why did they grab Gohan? They could have just grabbed the ball and left the crybaby at home with his mom. Well, maybe the assholes didn't know what a Dragon Ball was, they could have thought it was a kid with a tail, but they already collected 4 balls. So why did they grab him? We all know the answer. The climax of the movie has to happen. La-dee-da is still a glaring writing issue. Team 4-Star actually made fun of this in their abridged version of the film. If you haven't checked out Team 4-Star, I recommend them. They're hilarious.
Rikum will not be ignored!
Sir, I am trying to talk to my friends!
Hey Vegeta, we're friends now, right?
Fuck off.
The best.
Hey, Dad!
Hey.
We get to see the little man at the top, Garlic Jr. Now, you can be forgiven for thinking at a quick glance, this was Pilaf. After all, they're voiced by the same guy. In both English and Japanese versions, the actors for each respective language voices both characters. They knew what they were doing. Both Pilaf and Garlic have the same goals, temperament, and even look the same. Albeit Garlic is a little bit more competent. He actually becomes immortal in the end, summoning the dragon once all the Dragon Balls are collected. And I gotta say, this is my favorite of the dragon summonings. Look how his body is wrapped around the castle. If Toriyama did a metal album cover, this would be it. In fact, I like the castle as a whole. It kind of reminds me of one of those Quake maps back in the good old days. Garlic's celebration is cut short by Goku crashing the party, soon followed by Kami. Kami's here because he has history with Garlic's father, competing against one another for the throne of Kami. But Junior's dad was a kind of a whiny bitch when he lost, so he tried to take the throne by force, but got his ass kicked by the former Kami and tossed into the dead zone of his own making. Goku zips past with the Asshole Trio on his tail, leaving Kami with Junior. He gets cornered by the three assholes. They power up with weird passwords, I guess you would call it.
Shinja bread. Tutti frutti. Cheese.
Maybe that's the flavor steroids they took before the fight started? They have the upper hand in round 1, being more surprise attack artists than anything else, but that is short-lived. Goku gets some help from Krillin, who just shows up to reflect 2 blast bolts, poses for the camera, and gets replaced by Piccolo and relegated to babysitting duty, which he fails miserably. And I feel bad for Krillin in this movie. All it does is piss on him. It's kind of a missed opportunity for a 1v1 match between the Asshole Trio, the newly formed alliance between Goku, Krillin, and Piccolo. But instead, Piccolo gets one guy he just manhandles and literally pins his ass to a wall.
You and your pals are nothing but talk.
With Goku facing off with the other two, really pushing that animation budget. I really like this fight too, the weapon usage, the power pole making a return, and the animation looks crisp and clean, with one hiccup. This doofus right here with his eye coloring matching the sky, it looks like he's one of those masks with nobody wearing it. And the fight ends with a nice explosion that just warms the cold, black, dark depths of my heart. We circle back around to Kami, who isn't doing too good in his fight. In fact, his entire fight, if you want to call it that, is kind of a dud. Kami gets 1 or 2 shots in, and that's pretty much it. He just kind of gives up and relegates to kamikaze attack, but that's kind of useless against an immortal. If you just came in off of Dragon Ball and watched this fight, I can't imagine anything but disappointment. But hell, in the tournament, Kami held his own against Piccolo, but here it's just not the same Kami. It's kind of a shame. Both Piccolo and Goku walk up and get ready to throw down with the pint-sized demon. However, another quirk that Garlic has that Pilaf doesn't, Garlic knows how to hit the gym. The fight kicks off, Garlic treats both Goku and Piccolo like floor mats until the duo removes their weights and just annihilates Garlic. In fact, the only thing interesting about this fight is the animosity between Goku and Piccolo. Their victory celebration, however, is cut short when they start another fight between the two, hoping to settle the score from the World Martial Arts Tournament. But everyone seems to have forgotten that Garlic wished for immortality. He throws a tantrum, opens up the Deadzone, doing his best impression of a vacuum cleaner, waking up Gohan, who just punts Garlic's ass into his own trap. Everyone shares a joke, Piccolo declares shit's not settled, and everyone goes their separate ways, ending with the anemic Garlic Jr. banging on the prison trying to get out. And that was Deadzone, the first of the DBZ movies. Anybody who's read the manga or watched the shows, but has never had the chance to watch the movies, is probably thinking, this is familiar. Well, you're right. In fact, it's an entire Raditz fight in a nutshell. Gohan gets kidnapped by a stranger, Goku and Piccolo team up to fight said stranger. They use the Dragon Radar to find Gohan. Gohan is instrumental in the bad guy's defeat, and Krillin gets humiliated both times. There are differences though. For example, the trio took Gohan from Chi-Chi and Ox King. They cheap shot at Ox, and Chi-Chi stopped training after they got married. Raditz took Gohan directly from Goku, who never stopped training. Even when Goku teamed up with Piccolo and Gohan's intervention, they still had to make sacrifices to win that fight. A lot of people think Raditz is the dud. Yeah, he's the weaker of the Saiyan trio, but he is still a hell of a lot stronger than Garlic Jr. Garlic was only a threat because of his immortality. If he didn't have that, the movie would have ended a lot quicker. And this movie isn't that long anyway. It's just barely longer than 45 minutes. And if you ask anybody, this is more or less an OVA. It's not a movie, even though all the promotional stuff for it says Dragon Ball Z, the movie. It may sound like I'm being hard on this movie, but I do like this movie. A lot of it is mainly nostalgia because, like most people in my age bracket, they caught this movie on Toonami back when there was a weekday block in the afternoons back in the 2000s. This was one of the films they played back to back, like with World's Strongest, Tree of Might, and other films, like a censored version of Blue Sub 06, Endless Waltz, and I also think there was a Tenchi movie, I think, and a Sailor Moon movie. My memory's kind of shit for it, but I do remember the 3 Dragon Ball Z movies that played on this block on Friday. But still, these 3 DBZ movies I have a strong attachment to, regardless of their flaws. However, Deadzone, unlike many of the other movies, has one major upside. It has a sequel arc in the series called Red Mist that featured Gohan heavily. It ends the same way the movie did and is more or less just a filler arc, but Gohan does get another chance to kick ass, something we wouldn't see in the series until the end of the Cell games, several episodes later.
No! No!
Or that's my opinion at least. I did intend for this to be part of November, but certain complications kept pushing the project back, so it landed in December instead of November. And with that, November comes to a close. I'd like to thank everybody who joined me on this journey, both new and old, everybody who subscribed this month. I appreciate the support. And I probably will be covering more anime in the future, it's just I wanted to dedicate an entire month to anime. And I'm pretty sure Nigel will keep posting shorts about DBZ if he has his way. I have plenty of projects planned for December, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, please like, comment, or subscribe. Y'all take care.